The AGFA Horror Trailer Show. This was a kind of a clip show of different exploitation horror movie trailers, and it screened at my local Alamo back on March 5th, real film day, because 3.5, 35 millimeter. See if this will pick up on camera, but I had number 25 of 25 of these posters. I know that because I think I was the only person who bought one, and so they opened the box and picked the first one out. I guess they were put in reverse chronological order on the numbering. But I thought this was a really cool poster, so I bought it, and then I enjoyed it. Not everything that's on this poster was in the... in fact, most of these movies aren't actually in the AGFA Horror Trailer Show. Vampire's Coffin is, though. I've actually watched that full movie on Hulu with my friend Nathan once. But I thought I would show this off because of what I'm doing on this video, which is the fact that the AGFA Horror Trailer Show, which was the second to last movie I saw at Alamo before they closed down in the middle of that month for COVID, before reopening, at least my Alamo reopened in October of 2020. But now the AGFA Horror Trailer Show has been released on Blu-ray, and AGFA doesn't usually release their little mixtapes on physical media. They're usually theatrical exhibition only. But let's talk about that a little bit. Carl's in his little bed, so I thought I'd let you guys see him while I'm just rambling. The AGFA Horror Trailer Show has been released on Blu-ray. Got it a couple days early from its actual street date, which I believe is January 26th. Bought it from Vinegar Syndrome, which makes sense since a lot of the trailers in the AGFA Horror Trailer Show are Vinegar Syndrome titles, like Nightmare Weekend and such. So that's why I have this nice little slipcover here, which I'll just show off. Might as well block me and not the cat, because he's better to look at. Front, got some embossed sides. That's the image on the back. Other embossed side. Take it out of that tight slip. And if you buy it from any other retailer, or once the slipcover runs out, that's what we're looking at there. And you're back. So, what is the AGFA Horror Trailer Show? Well, it is an 80-minute compilation of a bunch of exploitation and horror trailers from the AGFA Vault. And it looks like they found some trailers that they thought would be fun, and they ended up cutting them together. Some of the black and white footage was also, they put some like neon tint in it so that it wasn't so shocking. They also put in some like little drive-in interstitials, the food courts and that sort of thing, so that makes it fun, and all those little things you'd see in that experience. And they struck an entirely new 35mm print, and then made those prints to show at some of the Alamos back in March of last year. And then they did like a digital restoration, not restoration, but digital transfer of that 35mm that they struck, and put it on the Blu-ray. So, obviously no plot to speak of. It's just a bunch of these different trailers edited together. There's a few highlights in there. One of my favorites is the one for I Dismember Mama and the Blood-Splattered Bride. Alamo shows that trailer, which is basically just actors, but they're pretending to be a newsman interviewing people coming out of the movie and talking about it. And there's one woman who's like a high-off-her-ass hippie talking about the Upchuck Cup and everything. I've seen that in front of Alamo a bunch of times. But if you've gone to, back when most Alamos were open, I think only some are right now, but every Friday night in the before times, not every Friday, but one Friday night a month, they would have what was called a video vortex screening, where they'd usually show an obscure movie. Usually it's direct-to-video, but not always. Sometimes you've shot on video. It'd be like $1 a ticket, like 10 o'clock on a Friday night, maybe later in some different locations. And they'd have like these great pre-shows of, video trailers, Tom Savini as Jack the Ripper, which is on one of the extras here, and stuff like that. And some of these trailers I've seen on those. And then some of these trailers are just for Vinegar Syndrome movies I own now. And it's edited in a nice little pace, and it's just something fun, especially if you're having like a game night, or or something, back when, people could get together and didn't have to quarantine, this would be something fun you could, like, put on in the background and kind of, like, point to, but you don't have to pay total attention because it's just a bunch of trailers. That's kind of what this is. So, and like I said, some of those Video Vortex nights, they would have other AGFA, what they'd call mixtapes. So it would just be a collection of random, basically, kind of, sort of, themed together works. So you'd have, there was the Neon Slime mixtape, which I think you can still rent from Alamo On Demand. But I commented on AGFA's Instagram and asked them if that would get a physical release too, because you can also buy it to download there, and they said no, theatrical only, so on demand, theatrical, And they had the Friday the 13th mixtape, which was a bunch of, like, fan-made Friday the 13th movies shot on video from, like, the 80s and 90s. I can understand why that doesn't get a physical release. That'd be a licensing nightmare with Paramount. But if you've gone to see any of those, you're familiar with those, this is kind of what that is. So you should know if you like it or not. Because there's lots of, and they mentioned this on the commentary, there's lots of different trailer mashups and things like that. Draft House Films did something called Trailer War a couple of years ago. I think that disc is out of print now, but you might still be able to get it on the secondary market. And then there's Grindhouse Video has the series called Trailer Trauma, where they edit a bunch of trailers together as well. I have Trailer Trauma 3, which is for 80s horror movies. The difference is, I think Trailer Trauma, for the most part, gets more mainstream or well-known titles, and here they really went for things that were slightly more obscure. Not obscure if you're a fan of boutique Blu-ray or a really hardcore exploitation cinema person, but not mainstream if all you know is, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and mainstream slasher stuff. Or even, like, lower tier slasher stuff of the mainstream, like Terror Train or something. But yeah, so if that sounds like your bag and that's something you want to do, definitely pick this up. Now, there are 3 extras on this disc. Might as well show. Oh, doesn't have a reversible insert, by the way. It's just more artwork, and that's the disc itself. So there's 3 extras on here. One of them is pretty much just a second movie. So that was also one of the reasons, because I wasn't sure how much, while I did see this in the theater, I enjoyed it and had a fun time, I wasn't sure how much replay value it would have. So when I found out there was a completely second full-length feature, let's call it, that made me excited for it. But first extra is there's an audio commentary on the main AGFA horror trailer show with some of the people from AGFA. Joseph Ziemba, I think, is the main guy. I'm pretty sure he came to VHFestival in 2019 at Alamo. I think he was on some of the panels there. So I think I'd seen him in person before, and he's present on a lot of Alamo pre-shows and stuff too, as well as some of the other staff in AGFA. Audio commentary is really fun. They talk about the making of this particular trailer mashup, what the impetus behind that was, where they got some of the sources from to put it together, some of the editing process. They talk about nostalgia for old trailers and old movie interstitials, and nostalgia for video store VHS covers, and it's all around. It's a pretty fun listen, especially as the movie quote unquote itself is only 80 minutes. So it's a nice quick breeze. That's how I watched this for the first time, since I'd seen it already, and I had fun with that. There's also, what do they call it here? A short called Say Goodbye to Your Brain, a found footage horror experiment. This is basically a short, very quickly edited mashup of different trailer and movie theater interstitial material. And it's edited, like, pretty rapid fire. It's not all exploitation. There's a couple mainstream things. There's a couple trailers that have Michael Caine in it, for instance. It's like 5 minutes, maybe, give or take, and it's pretty fun. It's just kind of edited, and some of the edits are like hard cuts to create a joke, like a setup punchline type thing. It's pretty fun. But the main extra, which they call as a bonus movie here, is the AGFA Horror Trailer Show Video Rage. And while the main AGFA Horror Trailer Show is an edit of trailers for theatrical exhibition, Video Rage is trailers for direct-to-video movies and shot-on-video movies. So it's pretty much the same thing, but of a slightly adjacent genre. So while the main movie is in, widescreen. It looks, while the clips themselves weren't restored, they were cleaned and digitally scanned, so there's still, blips and errors and stuff like that. It doesn't look like a beautifully restored trailer or anything, but it still looks like a very nice presentation. The Video Rage one looks like they just took the VHS S master and just threw it up there. It's in 4:3 full frame, and it looks like it just was struck off a VHS tape. So the quality's a little bit different. And there's some like TV commercial interstitials. There's a couple fun TV commercials for like a Halloween themed commercial for a car dealership and for like local haunted houses in like New Jersey and stuff. But it's mostly trailers for different shot-on-video movies, some of them more well-known than others. I had never heard of Holy Moly, which I think is the last one that ends it, but there's a couple other ones from more famous direct-to-video films like Blood Cult and things like that. So overall, you get two of these compilations. They're both about the same length, about 80 minutes or so. So decent there. You got a nice audio commentary, and ultimately it's just kind of a fun little package. So I just wanted to make this semi-quick review saying like, hey, if you were interested in this, like if you normally look for the AGFA titles, or you like for the partner labels offered on Vinegar Syndrome, go ahead and pick it up. I don't know how much of a rush there'll be on the slipcover. So far, I think the only AGFA slipcover that they sold out of really quickly, Vinegar Syndrome that is, was the McPherson tape when that came out. That might have been the first AGFA release that they did a slipcover for. But I think Drug Stories is still available and stuff like that too. But yeah, I thought this was really fun. I really hope that they're able to do more of these, even if they don't release the F-13 mixtape or they don't release the Neon Slime mixtape. I do hope AGFA does more stuff of this type, like just not necessarily full movies that they have in their archives or anything, but just like mashups of little like interstitials and things like that, because I really find those things fun. That's why I make sure if I go to see a movie at Alamo, I always make sure I arrive exactly 30 minutes early so I can be seated immediately and watch the full glory of the pre-show, because they have the most excellent pre-shows of all this random ephemera and shit. So that's it. AGFA Horror Trailer Show, available on Blu-ray from all your normal Blu-ray peeps and sellers, and if you want the limited slipcover, pick it up from Vinegar Syndrome. That's all. Thanks. Have a good one.